Welcome to Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we feature entrepreneurs and enterprise leaders who participate in our guest blog on shareyourstories.online. Our guest is Sarah Dawkins, who's a holistic health coach, speaker, and author, sharing examples of how others were able to find a path to wellness in her book, Heal Yourself. Sarah joins us today from Alicante, Spain. Welcome.
Hi, Trish. Thank you for having me.
You know, as an ex-nurse and a holistic coach, when I visit your website and I read your blog, everything that you do comes from a place of wellness. So how would you define a healthy lifestyle?
For me, a healthy lifestyle is a holistic lifestyle. It's not just about eating the right types of food. It's also about staying hydrated, having enough exercise, and walking's a brilliant exercise, getting enough sleep. And it's about connections as well, connections to ourselves, connections to our higher self, but also with other people. So it's the whole everything, it's holistic.
You know, that's really an interesting point because how were you able to connect with these amazing people who shared their stories with you in your book?
So I reached out on social media to people to help me who have healed themselves naturally, to write their own chapters to go in my book. And I got a few people and I said, you know, I want to know what you had, what your symptoms were, and how you healed, so that the reader can then try what worked for you. And I did get some people come back to me and donated their stories, but not as many as I would have liked. So I started looking out for disease processes that I hadn't got from a book, found those on the internet for people who'd healed themselves naturally and written their own websites. And I reached out to these people and said, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people to learn that they can heal a whole range of different health problems. Would you like to come on board? You can write your own chapter. Unfortunately, I can't pay you. It's just for the greater good. You know, my aim is to get out there that the people can heal themselves. And I would love for you to share your story. And the vast majority of people were more than happy to do it and donate their stories for free. So Heal Yourself was born.
Yeah. Now, how many stories do you share in total in the book?
Including my own, 75.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't it just?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit about the types of folks. So you obviously got a wide range of illnesses, and is there a common denominator amongst some of the stories of how people were successful?
Yes, and yes, in that several people just healed using food alone by changing their diet and lifestyle, but through food predominantly. And then other people healed through the whole emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of health. As I said previously, it's a holistic process, and they document how they went through all of those and addressed them all, because they do need addressing to truly heal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we all have times in our life when, you know, we're probably not feeling that great, or, you know, it goes one step further and we're actually diagnosed with something that needs our specific attention. And, you know, usually there's an underlying thing happening in the background, you know. So were there any folks who shared sort of that they'd had some major life changes that sort of resulted in an illness that then they had to pay attention to?
One of my healers specifically documents that she went to, I forget the name of it, it was a retreat or a health center, where she went, and they went back through her history, and she'd had chemical sensitivities and electrical sensitivities. And she went and she actually documented what she needed to forgive, who she needed to forgive, and the things from her younger years that had affected her. And once she'd done all this forgiveness work, she actually healed her chemical sensitivities. So she was able to put fuel in her car and be near electric points.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, the human brain is so powerful, isn't it? When you think about it, I mean, they say that, I think researchers say we use less than 10% of our brain power, which is kind of scary because, you know, if we were able to tap into all of those other things, what would we be able to accomplish?
I know.
So In your own practice, because I know you do help people on their own particular journey. So if I was reaching out to you through your website to try to make a connection and looking for your help and assistance, is there something that I would do prior to meeting with you that would help with that process of getting to know each other?
I do an introductory call so that I make sure that the person that is going to be a potential client thinks that I am a good fit
The right
with
fit.
them for their coach, and me for them for their client. Because as a client, I want commitment. You know, if you want to heal, you want to heal, and you're fully committed to it. And I will push people to do things they might not want to do as part of their healing journey, because we need to address things that we're frightened to address, and that's a big stumbling block for many people.
You know, I would think that gaining trust between you and your client is a really important factor when you're talking
Yeah,
about things like health and wellness, right? Because
absolutely.
you're peeling back the onion a little bit more than
Yeah,
most, right? And
yeah,
taking a look at some of the core issues that individuals are facing that's making them feel not great. So,
absolutely.
you know, that rapport is obviously really very important. And are you able to conduct most of your one-to-one coaching sessions on platforms such as this?
Yes, on video calls or face to face.
Mhm.
Some people actually prefer not to have a video call, so I just do a telephone call.
Ah, okay.
And I've had clients all over the globe. But it's about, for me, it's about what do they want from me, and I'm
Right.
happy to go along with what they want, because at the end of the day, it's their healing, and
It's
I need
their
to fit
journey.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm here as a catalyst to help kickstart that journey, but
Right.
also to help them to push boundaries so that they can heal themselves. They can accept that there's issues that need to be addressed on
Right.
their own journey.
Now, you mentioned that you have international clients, and I know that your book is available in more than one language. So tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, I'm an English lady living in Spain, so my first book clearly was going to be English, and then my second book had to be Spanish because I have Spanish friends and I've got Spanish healers as well. So I asked some of the people that I know if they would like to translate, and I met an English lady who's grown up here since she was a very young child, gone through the school system, so knows the Spanish language. So she translated my Spanish one. And I have a Dutch friend who translated my Dutch version. And then I met, I've known a Belgian lady, and I was talking to her through one of my stalls in the village. And I asked her if she spoke French, and she did. So, and she was happy to translate my book in French. And I've currently got a Greek friend living in the UK who is translating it to Greek. And I'm liaising with German people to try and get a German translation too.
Isn't that amazing? The strength of our networks, right? The
Yeah,
power of our
yeah,
networks. And what about
absolutely.
just asking, right? I mean, how many times are we so afraid just to ask for help?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That it's quite difficult for us to reach out to help at times.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the amazing network that you're able to build with folks that are willing to help you do these translations must be a
Yeah,
really wonderful feeling.
it is. It really is. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
yeah, and inquiring minds want to know, how did an English lady manage to start living in Spain? Because that's quite a wonderful leap from, you know, the weather that you have in Spain to
Yeah.
to make the comparison to the weather that you have in England. How did that come about?
Yeah. Well, we previously lived in America as well for 2 years with green cards.
Wow.
So I think we're a bit nomadic, but I came home from work one day and my husband said, "Shall we move to Spain?" His father lives out here. He's lived out here for 20 years, and we'd visited every year, and it was one grey, dull, miserable day. And I'm like, well, why not?
Why not? Right. Give it a whirl.
Yeah. And
Isn't
here
that
we are 4.5
amazing?
years later.
Isn't that fantastic? Well, good for you. Now, what's
Thank you.
on the horizon for you? Because, I often talk to folks who are authors and they write their first book, and then it usually starts the catalyst or they get the bug to write. So, is there another book in the works, a sequel to Heal Yourself?
I don't know about another book, but there's going to be a health clinic. A health and
Fantastic.
wellness clinic, yeah. So I'm going to, my aim is to set up my first one here in Spain. And I've got a very gifted friend who told me I would set up health clinics in my name all over the world. So, we'll start with the first one and see what happens.
Isn't that amazing? Well,
Yeah,
congratulations on that. That's
thank you.
fantastic. Now, one of the things that we do in the guest blog is we ask folks to share 3 words of advice. And your 3 words are believe, forgive, and let go.
Yeah.
So, how are they important to you in your journey?
They came from my book, actually. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can heal yourself and let go of what the doctors say about not being able to heal. Forgive. We have to forgive the past version of ourselves because we didn't have the skills and knowledge that we have today to deal with any situations we found ourselves in. And we have to let go of the past. Once we've forgiven ourselves and others who've hurt us, we then have to let go so that we can move forwards. So believe in yourself, forgive the past, let go, and move forwards.
Isn't that, that's really wonderful advice to share with our viewing and listening audience, Sarah. And I really want to thank you for taking the time to give us a little bit of insight into not only your book, but the journey that you had in being so successful and now translating into other languages as well. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Trish.
To you, our viewing and listening audience, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this edition of Keeping It Real, where we introduced you to the person behind the logo. I'm Trish Tonai, founder and host for the series. And if you're interested in sharing your business story, visit our website, shareyourstories.online. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to introducing you and your business while sharing your great idea.